What do you do on a miserable, coolish type rainy day? Well, you feed bees. I have the crew going in the honey house right now, and I'm a little bit overstaffed, so I have a guy kind of doing some housekeeping, moving boxes into storage and barrels onto trailers and stuff like that. And that freed me and one guy, my oldest daughter, freed us up to go and maybe catch up and do some feeding. So we're out putting pails on. Lori, the first thing she had said when she come to the yard is she smelt something minty, and I smelt something like pickles. So we didn't know what that was until we actually got into the hives and doing a little bit of feeding. And it's these patties, these Bee Healthy patties. That algae that I'm feeding, if you believe it or not, feeding algae to my bees is quite something else. These girls, you know, hanging out front, little raincoats on. We're dropping them some syrup because they're desperately needing some feed now that we took their honey on them. And take a look at this. Let's see if they're eating their patty. So we put this on 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Kind of forget, I'll check my blog here to see when I put it on. Kind of losing track of days. They're devouring it. Lined up to the trough. Same with my patty. It's almost completely disappeared. So that's positive. So this sure is neat, just seeing them consume so orderly like this. So there definitely is demand on protein right now. I'm going to tag the colonies with the Bee Healthy, and just to see if there's anything that I can extract from that. It's hard to find efficacy from like this type, just putting it on to see if they eat it. That doesn't tell you anything. They just eat stuff. But if I can somehow see translation of some kind of effect or whatever, you'd almost need a longer term study for that, just like a trial. Kind of like what I'm doing with my patties that I make myself, just to see if I'm actually seeing response from it or not. But ingestion is a positive thing, so that's neat. Take a look at that. Guys got to be careful giving products to somebody like me, I guess labeled as an influencer. The problem with me is I'm a little bit honest with my assessments, and I won't slag products, but you'll notice I don't speak of anything that maybe if I'm trying it out and you don't hear of it again. Silence is deafening, right? So the products have got to speak for themselves. Performance has to be obvious, you know. So it's a little bit risky sending that to me, because if they didn't ingest it, I have a lot of people that see that, but they're obviously eating it. Just about as fast as mine. I'll try to find a hive that I've fed mine in this yard. As Lori does all the work, maybe I'll help her finish up before I do any more here. So I found one of the hives which I have my patty and this other trial patty. I just wanted to see a bit of a comparison between the two. Gosh, there's so many bees. So here's the Bee Healthy, an algae patty, devouring that. And here's the last of my patty, just a scrap. This stuff, I put a lot of fats and lipids into it, and it really slows down consumption, but they're just devouring this, so it's good to see that. And hopefully this is all translating down into the nest, because that's the point. My intention here though isn't to replace pollen from their diet. My intention here is to supplement the pollen, to complement it, right? So maybe if the countryside's changing, you know, maybe we're losing the diversity across the countryside where we previously had. Maybe we don't have as much flowers out there anymore. Maybe we're losing the diversity in the fall, which would provide this abundance of high quality food during a time where these nests need this high quality food to set up their winter nests. Maybe these hives are just lacking that a little bit, and maybe our apiaries are a little bit malnourished. And if that's the case, my intention is to feed the supplement to complement what we have out there in the countryside for pollen. Not to replace it, but to complement it. I can provide them with all the bulk nutrients here, the easy stuff, but I can't replace whatever that is, that factor X in that pollen. We can't replace that. We haven't figured that out yet. And that's the essential that we need. So we can give them this and then just promote the edges, just promote the flowers around, just provide those flowers for the bees, grow that essential to build for these hives to use. So they have that essential, and then they have all this bulk nutrients that they need to build these bees. So that's my strategy. That's kind of what I want to do. I want to promote better ditch management. I want to help preserve natural places like ravines and treed areas, natural places with natural growth, right? Sloughs, wetlands, such like that. And then places you notice I'm growing in the corners where we're not using, just in and around agriculture, in and around our fields, just finding little places where I'm growing flowers, just to provide that essential that we can't provide in these paddies. And then that, you know, that all comes together into a strategy to promote these massive nests. And I think it's working. So I guess that's the end of the yard.